Hi guys, Tony here from Off the Block Physical Therapy again. So today we're talking about the necessary mobility that cyclists need to perform in that high level racing kind of position. So in the blog post we talked about the fact that you need mobility in the ankles, knees, hips, low back, and even up in the shoulder girdle and cervical area. So I'm going to show you a couple of stretches and some engagement exercises that you can work on to start to be sure that your body is functionally mobile and stable enough to perform cycling at a high level. So the first stretch that I'm going to show you is actually going to address the ankle, knee, and hip all at the same time. So you're going to use a little loop TheraBand like this one. It doesn't necessarily have to be a strong one, but it allows for us to get a little bit of mobilization at the ankle while we move into the stretch, which is super helpful as far as getting increased mobility. So it's kind of a little extra oomph in the stretch. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna wrap it around here. You're gonna bring that up to your knee on the back and around the ankle here in the front, just like this. And then you're gonna be in this kneeling position. So the band is pulling us backwards this way, and you are going to lean in, knees coming over toes because they come over toes when you're cycling. And I want you to keep your back forward so that you're getting that really increased angle here at the hip as well. So you're gonna lean forward, trying to keep that heel to the ground, hold that stretch, and then back. And then you can lean forward again. And ideally, you're holding each of these stretches for at least 30 seconds apiece. There's a principle of stretching that basically says that no tissue changes really happen before about 30 seconds. I find that people actually do better when they hold stretches for about a minute apiece, but if that's not tolerable to start with, you can start with just 30 seconds. So, body forward, lots of hip flexion, lots of knee flexion, lots of ankle dorsiflexion. The second stretch I'm gonna show you, we're gonna take the band off, and this is gonna work hamstrings, glutes, and low back. You're gonna stand up, and you can either do this with your foot propped up on like a stool or a step, or you can just do it here on the floor. You're gonna let that back knee bend. You're gonna keep everything straight here, and you are going to hinge at the hip. You're probably gonna feel this wherever you're tightest. For me, I feel it in the back of the knee because my hamstrings are real tight, but some people feel this more in the glutes. Well, some people feel it more in the back. But the biggest thing is I want you to keep your back extended and really hinge at the hips and lean forward until you feel that stretch. Same principle here, at least 30 seconds. And also when you're doing these stretches, at least 3 times. And then you can switch to the other foot. Same thing, hinge at the hips, really keeping everything extended, and then come back up. The last thing I want to show you guys is a good strengthening stabilizer for that shoulder girdle and cervical region. So, laying on the ground, almost like a yoga pose position in this little cobra. I want you to start with your elbows directly below your shoulders. And the biggest thing for cyclists is that they tend to extend their neck so that they can look forward to see where they're going. I want you guys to work on keeping your neck more neutral and just using your eyes to look forward, all the while keeping your shoulder girdle nice and stable. So where a lot of cyclists will hunch forward and let their back round, or they'll extend way up and cause themselves neck pain, I want you guys to stay stable. And to stay stable, you have to utilize a muscle called the serratus anterior. So I want you to work on lifting up through the shoulder blades and lowering down and keeping that neck in a neutral position so you're still looking forward and working on engaging those stabilizing muscles right here. Lifting and lowering, it's not a big motion, it's just a little bit of movement here. It allows you to learn to stabilize. So I don't want you sitting all the way down here while you're cycling. I also don't want you super lifted up here, but I want you to engage those shoulder blades and lift right through here. Tune in next week for some swimming advice.